talk to us about, in the heart of Denver's music scene, how does this location influence Crazy Mountain's vibe and offerings?
Well, I and AJ especially are big music nuts. My thing is live music. If I have expendable money or expendable time, live music is my gig. So to land in a job like this, at a location like this, being surrounded by all this live music is just a blessing for me. Doing everything we can to get more involved with the local venues, the local music scene. I think it's inspiring us to be a welcoming place for music lovers.
Oh yeah, I think you got a great spot for us, no doubt. What about blending that passion then for craft beer, local music, and the art scene, right?
We're just in the beginning, we've only been here since April.
Okay.
Definitely a part of our objective is making this a gathering place and a hub for artists.
Sure.
I have a lot of local music friends who have been supporting us through live shows, open mics. We just hope to create a vibe for people who love music and love the music scene here in Denver. Enjoy quality craft beer pre-show. I don't know if I'm
Excellent.
answering that.
I think that's a great answer. And I kind of passed on that. So you guys have been here since April of last year, so 2023. Correct. Is this an easy spot to get into, or is it kind of difficult to get in on Colfax?
The spot was available.
Okay.
That's the honest answer.
Yeah.
The spot was available. It made sense for us. I don't know if it was easy or difficult, but it was available. And it made sense for what we're passionate about.
Yeah. Any parking troubles for people?
Yeah, the parking here is definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's not so bad down Ogden.
Yeah.
Parking is a challenge. So we do rely a lot on the foot traffic.
Sure, yeah.
We're doing our best to piggyback off the local venues, especially the Ogden.
Yeah.
Show nights are our best nights, of course, because people are here for that.
Sure. Let's walk in a little bit. So the general excitement then for this venue, this place, you've got the Ogden, you've got the Fillmore. Is that really like the big buzz about the excitement of the business model here then?
I don't know if it's the focus, but it's definitely a huge portion of it.
She'll find her way.
We want to be a community gathering place for everyone.
Sure.
I think in my career in the business, being welcoming to anyone from any walk of life is super crucial.
Amen to that.
I think there's some pretension and snobbery sometimes about the clientele. And I've always prided myself on being open to the misfits and open to the weirdos and making them feel at home somewhere.
Yeah.
But with our proximity to all the locations, the day I was interviewed for this job, it occurred to me that let's focus on the music scene. Not just for selfish reasons, but because of obvious, business growth.
Yeah, I feel like you're living the dream.
This is the greatest, this is the greatest opportunity for me ever. I was working the burbs for the first 11 years of my life in craft beer, and I didn't realize how much I missed the urban environment.
Sure.
I didn't know how much I missed all the weirdos and the artists and the random folks that come in. So for me, this is just a huge blessing.
Oh my
and the guys give me a ton of rope to create the vibe here.
Yeah.
Which is, like you said, an incredible blessing for me.
I think it's really great, and I think it's awesome. Did you get to put your hand in the decorating aspect happening here? I love this corner.
I started right away. I started tearing down stuff that didn't make sense to me. I started creating the vibe visually from day one. Like I said, I want it to be music-centric. I want it to be about music and beer and fellowship.
Amen to that. So if I were a person, I got tickets to the show, Ogden, Fillmore, doesn't matter. Why should I stop at Crazy Mountain before the show?
So first and foremost, whoever's playing at the Ogden, so far most of our partnership is with the Ogden.
Okay, sure.
And with AEG. AEG works with most of the venues nearby, but specifically with our proximity to the Ogden, we've focused on that. If you have a ticket day of show to a show at the Ogden, you always are entitled to a BOGO beer here at Crazy Mountain.
That's a pretty good reason
We
to
will
stop
also always be playing similar music or the band that's playing that night, within reason, unless it's something we absolutely can't stand.
Okay,
But
fair. There's always going to be like that little portion that maybe
I love music.
doesn't
I
get to
love
come
most
inside.
music. I don't love all music, if that makes sense.
Hey man, you're human,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
right?
you can't love everything.
Yeah.
We try our best. I feel like that's fair. So you've got a diverse lineup of bands coming through. You've got a lineup of handcrafted beers. So how do you ensure each batch reflects Crazy Mountain's commitment to quality and innovation?
Fresh ingredients.
Sure.
Hard work. We're always milling moments before the brew process. I don't think we're trying to reinvent the wheel here.
Sure.
I think we are focused very highly on a quality, solid, dependable product. My big focus managing the place is customer service.
Sure.
I don't want to get away from the importance of the beer, but I think sometimes the customer service goes by the wayside at a lot of places.
Yeah.
And so my focus as far as managing the bar staff is definitely about service. What can we do to set ourselves aside from the other breweries?
Sure. Yeah.
So many places wait for you to come to the bar. I don't believe in that. If you got
If you
time,
build it,
go
they
to
will
the table.
come.
Go to the table.
Yeah,
You know,
right?
serve the people. If we
Yeah.
can set ourselves aside through service, I think that could really make a huge difference in what's going on.
Yeah, 100%. You know, that's always going to be the experience, how you're received when you're walking into a place.
Right.
Is it relatable? Do they even want me to be there? You know what I mean?
Right.
From a customer perspective. So you guys are working with a decently small system.
We are.
You know, we kind of highlighted that earlier, but so you're talking about customer service. How are you keeping up with demand then on a one barrel system and incorporating that good service when maybe it's flying out the door and people are like, but I wanted that beer. You know what I mean? Like
It's
how's
a
that
lot of
going?
work, and
Yeah.
AJ, our brewer, works very, very hard just to keep enough beer in this room.
Sure.
A small system like this, I mean, granted, it's a Cadillac of small systems, and he's worked very hard. He's done all of this himself. He's built it all.
That looks great.
Yeah, he has to work very hard just to keep enough beer on tap. But it's a blessing and a curse. We can experiment a lot
Sure.
being on such a small system. And we have a direct R&D
Yeah.
right there. We can
Yeah.
make a very small batch.
Sure.
The customers can react to it in real time.
Yeah.
But that being said, he does have to work very diligently just to keep beer on tap.
Sure.
And with all transparency, sometimes I've got 10 beers on tap, sometimes I've got 4.
Yeah.
Just depending on how the week goes.
Yeah.
We have a lot of aspirations for upgrading the system.
Sure.
Currently, we're working on doing some contract brewing
Okay.
with a few different people just to keep the inventory up and make AJ's life a little easier.
Sure. Any flagships that you want to highlight?
Well, we got the Cult Classic, which is Lawyers, Guns, and Money, our barley wine, which has been around, I think, most of the entirety of the company.
Sure.
A really easy drinking, high octane barley wine. The people who find out that we are reopened and that we're in this location are super stoked when they find out we have Lawyers, Guns, and Money back on tap.
All right.
Mountain Livin' is a pale ale that's been a big standard for the company over its history.
Okay.
Hey June is our latest creation, which is going to be a dry juniper IPA. That'll be the first beer back in the retail market.
Oh, nice.
Finishing up label design currently. And hopefully you'll see it on the shelves in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, wow. That's super exciting.
Yeah, but it's a dry juniper IPA. Again, I don't think, our goal is to reinvent the wheel, but it's a different concept. It's an interesting beer.
Sure. You let us try it. It was very good.
Yeah, people are loving it.
She's doing her thing. Let's see. We kind of went out of this space, but this is where you hold the open mic, right?
No, honestly,
on the other side?
we do the open mic by the front doors there.
All right. Well, let's cruise down the hallway a little bit. Talk to me about open mic. It seems to be quite a hit. What inspired the idea, and what's been the community response?
I've worked in retail, whether it be Midway caricature, coffee houses, restaurants, bars, breweries, my entire life. I started, my first social place to hang out as a teenager, it was an old hippie-run coffee house with a very big focus on live music. I think that installed in me very early. That was my introduction to open mics. I've run an open mic at every place I've ever worked, pretty much, if I could.
Yeah.
I've built a lot of local musician friends here on the Front Range. I have people who come to my open mic every week who drive 45 minutes to an hour just to come here for my open mic.
That's awesome.
I'm very lucky to have all those musician friends locally who've supported me and followed me to 5 breweries now.
5? Oh my gosh. So you've been around quite a while. How many years have you been in the craft beer scene?
12,
Bonus question.
12 years now.
12 years.
And just recently we've started to get some comics at our open mics, which has been a neat introduction, which led us to now doing a bi-monthly comedy showcase.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So far it's been a big hit. It's been really cool.
I feel like there's more and more comedians, not saying I thought they were never not in the area, but I feel like, I don't know, it's in some sort of wave where there's
seems
more
to be
coming
growing
around.
again. I don't know.
Maybe there's more.
People need a laugh, guys.
Yeah.
I thought maybe there was just more cocaine again.
The weight of the world, people need a laugh. That's for sure. That's for sure. And it kind of, the first 6 months of the open mic were strictly musicians.
Okay.
And now with the introduction of some comics, it's been really cool. It's kind of divided up the night and made it a little more interesting.
So really the support then, Crazy Mountain, supporting local artists and musicians is through that open mic platform.
So far, I mean, I do live music a few nights a month, and then the comedy showcase as well.
Okay.
I think I see a trend with some of the breweries that they're doing less and less live entertainment.
Okay.
It's less expensive to It's less expensive to rent a streaming concert than to pay a live musician. But again, live music has always been my passion. So whatever I can do to support that in the area,
Yeah.
whatever I can do to support live and local music is a big priority.
I love that. What a great spot right here.
I think it's serendipitous, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to be. I'm not sure how else you could sum that up. Maybe that's what we'll title it, serendipitous. Okay, so you're supporting local music, artists, you've got comedians coming through. You definitely want to keep that platform through them. Anything beyond that, the broader Colorado culture and community that you want to
I want it to be open to anyone and everyone. I want it to be a community gathering place, but artistically, we've got tons of ideas. Drink and draw is a thing that I used to do at breweries in Ohio. Any creative endeavor I am open to, absolutely. And I want to be a place that maybe loses some of the pretension and is more of a community gathering place for artists and people to share ideas and their talents.
Absolutely. I love that.
I like to use the word fellowship, and I was discussing this with Mark and AJ. People have different places where they hold fellowship. I think fellowship in a brewery is just as important as in a church or whatever the gathering place may be.
Yeah.
So fellowship is a key big word for me.
Any memorable or one specific moment that sticks out for you that's taken place here so far at Crazy Mountain Brewery for the music scene? Or
So far I get some of the artists will come in and drink beer. A lot of times I don't know that they're someone. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Because I only know so many bands, right?
And
more often I get a lot of the support crew and the roadies.
Oh, yeah.
A great story, if I can tell it. I had a drum tech for Buck Cherry come in and spend their 90s rock band, spend most of the afternoon hanging out with me and telling me stories about being on the road.
I'm all lit up.
Yeah, exactly. Mind boggled by the opportunities that a drum tech is provided if you work for a famous band. So T-Bone is the guy's name. He's the drum tech for Buck Cherry, and he's setting up at some big music festival, multiple bands on the ticket. And Steven Tyler walks up to him and says, "Hey, I'm Steven Tyler."
Oh, hi.
T-Bone says, "Hi, I'm T-Bone." Of course, his name is T-Bone, right?
Yeah, right.
T-Bone says, "Well, what's up, Steven?" Steven says, "T-Bone, take care of your feet." T-Bone says, what do you mean take care of my feet? Steven Tyler says, when I first became a rock musician, I wore women's boots and all these extravagant clothes, and I ran and jumped all over the stage, and my feet got totally destroyed, and I became a drug addict, and then I went to rehab, and I almost lost my whole career. So T-Bone, take care of your feet. But so far, I mean, I've met a couple of big stars, but so far the majority has been a lot of the roadies. And
I mean, those are the guys and gals I want to talk to. Like,
yeah, it's been really cool.
Not that I don't want to talk to the band, but you know, I want to talk to the frontline folks.
Yeah, it's been really cool. The people who are doing the hard work.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great. The stories are numerous. It's wonderful. There are good and bad things about it. Like often the tour buses park right in front of our building and block all our signage.
Oh.
And occasionally, you know, point their exhaust right in the front door, and that makes for a rough day, but I guess you got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
We have a lot of opportunities coming up working with some of the bands to do some meet and greets, maybe pre-shows, cross-promotion for giveaways and merchandise pre-sales. That's something we're very, very excited about working on right now. We're working with a band from Australia that is playing in May at the Ogden. Lots of things in the work, but there'll be an exclusive beer only available day of show. There'll be an exclusive run of cans only available for that day. Really cool. We're still working on the details, but might be a pre-show, working on a couple of things like that, which we're really, really excited about.
That's super exciting. Oh my gosh, you get that one going and you'll have all the VIP parties.
I think it could be huge for us.
Hell yeah. It absolutely should be. I love that so much.
Also, talk about an opportunity only available because you work on a 1-barrel system.
Oh,
there you go.
You can't do that on a 15-barrel.
Well, you make a mistake, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not that we have so far, in my opinion. But like I was saying earlier, you get that immediate criticism from such a small barrel batch. Makes it hard to keep up with beers on tap, like I said earlier. But also when we do have enough inventory, the sky's the limit as far as experimentation, you know?
Yeah.
The cost isn't huge. The waste isn't huge if something does go wrong. So it's a really blessing and a curse.
Yeah. Anything the craft beer industry is doing specifically that might be influencing any of how you strategize going about that? Or
well,
really
there's obviously a turn towards lagers and pilsners. Which again, working with a small barrel system is tough because it ties up your fermenters for a longer period of time if you want to make lagers. But definitely a focus on, obviously you have to anymore, the hazy IPA trend. But definitely as we expand, we want to work a lot more with lagers and pilsners. It's the trend and you got to follow it to some degree.
Yeah, and it's so good. I mean, you get those two, right? There's your slammable, it's business time, right, or whatever. You could throw the
how many times have you heard, if a brewery makes a great lager, you know they're a great brewery?
Amen. It's true. It's a foundational element.
Our Mexican lager has become a flagship that we keep on all the time.
An amazing name, by the way. I wrestled.
It's fun, right? Yeah, absolutely. And it's been a
Me
crowd
too, and
favorite.
I lost terribly.
Good joke.
It's
been a crowd favorite. People absolutely depend on it now, so we try to have it on all the time. And you got to have that light offering, you know.
Are any of these that you want to highlight that are coming about? Oh, there's the luchador. Lemon Pale sounds delicious.
Very excited about the Lemon Pale. I didn't even know it was happening until I walked back here and saw the sheet, to be honest with you.
Fair.
Dito's is a tribute to a dear friend of AJ's that is no longer with us, unfortunately.
Man.
A beautiful American IPA. Hop to It is quickly becoming a staple. Our General Hazy IPA.
It's delicious as well.
Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh. I was having a hard time not just taking it down. So really it's a fan question at this point. We want to highlight you a little bit. How does your art and love for art, music, shine a light on Crazy Mountain? It's serendipitous, right? But it goes both ways. It can't just be you for them and them for you. Like, how are you shining a light on all of this beyond what we've already discussed? I think this is a great spot to highlight that moment a little bit further.
I can't help but make art. I can't help but be creative. in the role as taproom manager, there's a lot of spreadsheets and calendars and that kind of thing, which isn't necessarily my wheelhouse that I've had to learn to adapt to. And there always comes a point in the week where I can't stare at a computer anymore and I have to make something. So whether it be, adding some hype around the Hey June and creating this mural, advertising crawlers to go, working on poster design and advertising events, working on the label for the crawler or for the new can. There comes a point in the week where I'm just spent staring at a computer, and I can't help myself but be creative. How does it influence? I think it influences the vibe of the place and creates a unique environment. I often will draw caricatures behind the bar if I have time. I want to encourage, like I said earlier, just the creative hand-touched vibe. That's what I wanted to point out.
I love that, hand-touched.
I want it to be hand-touched. Yeah, we could hire somebody to paint a mural, or we could hire somebody to paint the logo on the windows, or whatever, but you got a guy on staff who can do it for you, and I think it brings a unique touch to it. I'm not a trained graphic designer, I'm a trained painter, so it's a hand-influenced touch. The Hey June label, for instance, could have been created in Photoshop, but no, that's based on an original watercolor painting, and that's the plan going forward, is that the can designs will all be based around one of my original paintings. So it puts a handmade touch on it. A handmade touch. Anybody can hire some design firm, or you can have a handmade grassroots touch to your product.
I feel like oftentimes it's waitressing, it's bartending, but beer tending, it's definitely more low-hanging fruit. Any advice for anybody who wants to get into the craft brew scene?
Any advice?
Guys, gals, all of the above.
Before you do it, honestly care about people. Honestly care about the customer. Be welcoming to everyone in every walk of life. That would be my advice. And make customer service a priority in the industry. I think I preach that a lot. I want to see service, not slamming anyone, I just want to see service as a big priority in the community.
Yeah, wanting to do it. Right?
Yeah, wanting to do it. I do this because I want to do it.
Yeah.
There are other things I could be doing, but
literally anything.
I enjoy this. I get criticism from my very conservative family about the choices I've made and the lifestyle that I work in, but I wholeheartedly believe in the community and fellowship you can create in this environment.
Absolutely. And you know what? There's a demand for it.
Absolutely.
Someone has to serve it, but not as a means of need, but and I always go back to that want, right? I 100% miss being behind the bar a lot of the time because, one, I like serving beer. Why? I get to hang out with people like you or anybody who walks through the door and just have a random conversation. Mm-hmm. Maybe they just needed somebody to talk to, and I like being that sounding board, right?
And you never know what you might learn that day. You never know.
Literally anybody could walk through the door.
In my new role as a taproom manager, I'm behind the bar less and less, and it's kind of bittersweet. I have a lot of responsibilities to keep all the all the balls afloat. But yeah, I miss being behind the bar more. But it's a transition that I have to make in my career, and hopefully I can instill in my bar staff what I'd like to see happening or the way I would do it. So hopefully I can instill that.
Yeah. Well, I think you're off to a great start.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, totally. And what a cool leap for you to get to instill that and pass along that care and nourishment, intimacy, right? But now you get to take it to the next level, right? Mm-hmm. So all your other passions and excitement for life get to come to fruition.
Yeah.
All right, last question,
Uh-oh.
but not least. If you could be any beer in the world, what beer would you be?
I would be
why?
Nosferatu's Imperial Red by Great Lakes Brewing in Cleveland.
Woo! Oh my God, I love that.
I thought about this a lot. My introduction to craft beer, at the time I was like a Heineken Rolling Rock drinker.
Yeah,
and I rented
We all were, I think.
I rented an apartment directly across the street from Great Lakes Brewing in Cleveland. I had no idea about craft beer. Obviously, went to Great Lakes Brewery. It was around Halloween time, and they make an Imperial Red called Nosferatu. My buddy and I had 4. Had no idea what we were into. I think it's 7.3%. This opened up a whole new world to us.
Oh, yeah.
And changed my life immediately as far as the profiles and what was really available and what a diverse palette of beers there are in the world. I'm a nut about Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
I love horror movies. I'm into that kind of thing. So yeah, Nosferatu Imperial Red.
I love that.
Yeah.
What an awesome answer to
Hell
that
yeah.
question.
And
Oh
my
my
Cleveland
gosh.
roots.
Yeah, there you go. Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
I always think of, nope, I'm not going to say it because I can't think of his name. He does the Price is Right show now.
Oh, Drew Carey.
Yeah, thank you.
I've had a
He was
beer with
always
Drew
like,
Carey.
What?
I have. Yeah, randomly at a bar in Cleveland.
Ohio.
And he was a great dude, yeah.
Right on. That's awesome. I've never been there, but it seems fun.
Cleveland's great, and we were talking about being involved in the music scene here.
Yeah.
Growing up in Cleveland, I grew up about 25 miles south of Cleveland, but Cleveland is also a ginormous music hub. So I got to see all the bands when I was a kid. Everyone came to Cleveland, and Denver feels like that. It feels like my youth in Cleveland because all the good bands come to Denver. So this is kind of a backtracks me to my youth, and being so readily available to all this live music is just such a blessing.
I love that. What a great story. Thank you
Yeah,
for taking
thank
the
you.
time to share with us, hang out with us, share some insight on you. Crazy Mountain seems like it's going really well. I can't wait to come back for a show, grab a beer again.
Thank you guys so much.
you.
We're really excited about the spring. Come hang out with us.